You know what time it is. Welcome back, Buff Nation. On the dot, a little early. I'm not mad about it. A little early before the 5 o'clock bell hit. Boom. Another one. Payton Kirkland, offensive tackle. We talked about it in the video yesterday. The 6 that were coming through. What did I tell you? I said edges are locked. Linebackers are locked. My question marks, I predicted 5 would commit out of the 6, given the tea leaves that we were reading. Out of the 2 that I didn't feel comfortable about were Payton Kirkland and the running back at Ohio State. And I said at the end of the video, I said, look, if I had to choose between the 2, you got to take Payton Kirkland. I'm glad they listened to the video. I'm glad that Coach Prime and the Buffs watched because they heard, they listened, they reacted. Let's talk about Payton Kirkland and what he's going to do to this offensive line. But before we do, you already knew. You already knew. You know what's funny? On the comments section, somebody said, look, this guy's from Pitt, the ACC. I want somebody from Georgia, Bama, the SEC. Then I'll be excited. Here you go. Texas, SEC. It could. Anything else? Batter up, right? Line them up. Mr. Payton Kirkland. Offensive tackle, played right tackle and left tackle in high school, mostly right tackle. So think about it. You got Jordan Seaton lined up on one side on the left side, and you got Mr. Payton Kirkland on the right side. Talk about a dynamic duo. Now, is the guy going to come out and play right away? I wouldn't think so, okay? And here's why. We'll get into it in just a moment. 6'6", 366 in his weight. But what I love about it is, and we're kind of following this thing unfold here a little bit. Offensive linemen, in my opinion, you got to grow them. You got to nurture them. You got to create that line as a unison, okay? Now, they're slowly doing that. With Jordan Seaton and Payton Kirkland, you got guys that have 4 years of eligibility. Payton Kirkland has 4 years of eligibility. So you're building around the quarterback, a.k.a. Julian Lewis, who's coming in shortly, all right? So you want to create that base. Wide receivers, running backs, dime a dozen. Find them anywhere, okay? This is what people don't realize with cornerbacks, wide receivers, and when you really kind of dig into the game of football, these skill position players, the reason why they don't really maybe go to a big school right away is because there's just so many of them. So it's hard to really peek out through the top. So when you're able to pull out those Preston Hodges of the world, right, and pick them from these schools like a Liberty, it's because they were good coming out of high school. Maybe they lacked size. Maybe they didn't play at the right high school. Maybe they played at a level. Maybe they didn't go to camps. So their eyeballs weren't on them. Doesn't mean they weren't good. Just nobody knew about them. So those positions are much easier to replace and fill in as the year goes on. Offensive line, we know, is a hot commodity. That position is very hard to fill. So if you can get somebody in early and young with Payton Kirkland and build, it's exciting stuff. Again, this isn't going to be a day one impact, but you lose Savion Washington, who was in that right tackle position. Savion Washington at least brought you experience. You're bringing in some people like Benson, who I believe is going to play that right tackle side. So this, into my opinion, is a great filler. This provides the depth and a future addition to the Buffs. So you got to like this. If you take a look at his film as well, again, he's a monster because he's 6'6", 366 in high school. This is his junior film, by the way. Just pancaking kids. These poor kids never had a chance. Edge rushers, linebackers, defensive linemen, doesn't matter. This is grown man strength they're going up against in Payton Kirkland. Now, here's the biggest thing that people have to realize, too, with these offensive line, it's the speed of the game. You hear about it all the time. That first to second year is massive because the speed of the game from high school to college is huge. People have no idea how big it really is until you talk to these guys and really understand, like, look, it's just being able to, I always use the visual as acting as a third person, right? You're able to almost third person out of experience, be able to see what's happening on the field without being, looking from the top down and be able to move quickly, not having to overthink things. So he has a size, has a technique, I believe. Now he's just going to be able to go up against these fast defensive linemen with twitches and they're throwing, the defensive schemes down, the rotating defensive line. Those things is what has these offensive line. That's why there's a delay. That's why it takes the development process for these offensive line. Do we have some like Jordan Seaton that come in right away and make an impact? Absolutely. But this 24 class of offensive linemen is special. But prior to this, the emphasis on offensive line for high school just wasn't there. But camps, the emphasis, the importance of it is starting to ramp up. So I think we're going to start seeing these guys be able to have more of an impact earlier on. But at the moment, these guys from the 23 and earlier classes just don't have that same pizzazz, I think, as the classes we'll start to see come in and be able to make an impact right away. Again, ultimately, massive pickup. Love the fact that they were able to add to the depth that they lost with Savion Washington. Again, Savion Washington was just it's a used piece because he's gone after this year regardless of the situation. So now you got a guy that's bought in. It also speaks to, again, Julian Lewis. That's a huge piece I think people are misunderstanding. There's this is a 1-2 combo, 1-2 punch jab Ryan Garcia. Speaking of, hell of a transition here. Didn't even mean for that to happen. Was thinking of the Ryan Garcia fight last night, which made me think of the 1-2 punch. And then I realized I forgot to mention in the last show, but Ryan Garcia on a FaceTime with was it Bucky? Yeah, with Bucky, I believe, said that he would be at the spring game. So the spring game is going to be electric. I can only imagine more would it be committing. But it is 5:30-ish now. We've got an hour till the next one drops, till the next shoe drops. The bat signal has been shined into the sky. Okay? Batman and Robin this, boys and girls. You know what to do, though. Smash the like button, turn the bell on. We just surpassed 9,000 subs. Big salute and a thank you to you. On to 10,000 we go. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace and love, baby.